Hello, and welcome to Battle Report number 27. Pretty sure it's 27. And it's round 4 of the English Championships. So we're moving on to day 2 now, after a very crushing day 1, I think. So let's try and do it a little bit better this time. For round 4, I was drawn against Saurian Ancients, which I was very pleased with. It's nice to have a very different change of pace after the last two against Empire. And also as well, shout out to my opponent. I knew him by reputation for being an excellent opponent, so I was very excited to finally play him as well. Yeah, let's move on to the list. So, if you haven't seen mine by now, either pause the video or it'll be down in the description below. And for my opponent's list, he has got a Saurian Warlord sitting on an Alpha Carnosaur. He's got paired weapons with it, Blessed Inscriptions, so that's 6 Strength 5 AP2 attacks with Divine, and they reroll to wound, and they're ignoring parry, not that that matters here, but oof. And then the Carnosaur is sitting underneath him as well, which is just, that's a terrifying model. He's got a Jade Staff, that gives him Healing Waters as a bound spell, and Starfall Shard, which gives him a 2-up Aegis against Flaming and Hard Target. So the Starfall Shard also stops you benefiting from Fortitude. You automatically fail your Fortitude saves, but obviously casting a bound spell, you still trigger Fountain of Youth, and it's a single model, so you don't need to get Oaken thrown up. So that's a bound spell that's basically, essentially, it's touch the heart, but with benefits, which is very nice. That's I think a very clever way of using that item, and it splits your magic a tiny bit from the Quattro, so you've got more. You don't have one focal point for your magic, which is quite nice. I think that was a funky choice. I like that. Next, he's got a Quattro Lord, who's both the General and the Battle Standard Bearer. He's a Wizard Master of Divination. He's holding a Binding Scroll. He's got the Magical Heirloom, so he's got Spark of Creation as well. And he's got Grasp of the Immortals, so an additional channel, +1 for his casting attempts as well. And I think that's everything. I think I'm thinking of other disciplines otherwise. Yeah, +1 casting modifier and an additional channel. Then in core, a unit of 25 Saurian warriors with spears, the Jaguar Totem, full command, and a banner of speed. And Jaguar is, I think, the +1 speed one. Yes, so that unit is Advance 6 and March 12, so again, pretty funky choice, I think. Makes that unit very, 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 very fast, and I think against an all-infantry list, that would be very irritating. They're only 3 inches short of having used a Banner of the Relentless Company every turn, which is very nice. 2 lots of 15 Skink Braves with bows, musicians, and champions. 10 Raptor Riders with full command and a flaming standard. 10 Chameleons. 10 Skink Hunters with blowpipes. A Taurosaur with a great bow, and a Stygiosaur with Mystic Traveller to further bolster the magic. So yeah, 3 big scary monsters. A Quattro who's very good at magic. A big block of Saurian warriors with spears, which isn't nice for cavalry to charge into, especially with divination supporting them. Know thine enemy on spears is not a nice prospect. I think I've proven that in a previous battle report. Thankfully, though, besides the monsters and maybe the Raptor Riders, there's an awful lot of low strength, low AP shooting, so I don't need to worry about that quite so much, which is nice. And Divination is really good for combat support, but shooting-wise, it's, Unerring Strike and Fate's Judgement don't worry me, so I think he picked different spells as well. So, yeah, I was not confident going into this, having been 20'd twice, but I was more comfortable with this one than having to play a third Steam Tank or maybe Warriors or something. Of which there were 10 at the tournament, by the way. 1 in 6 players at this tournament was a Warrior player. So, very pleased to haven't run into any of those yet. Anyway, let's look at the game, shall we? So, for round 4, we were playing I've just looked at this. We were playing Refused Flank, and the secondary objective was Breakthrough. And of course, Breakthrough is something that Equitane's pretty good at, especially with lots of small, fast, heavily armoured scoring units, which is good. On his side, he's got his Alpha Carnosaur, then his Stygiosaur, the 25 brick of Spear, Jaguar, Banner of Speed, Saurus Warriors, 15 Bow Skinks, 15 Bow Skinks, the General BSB Quattro, the Taurosaur with his Great Bow, 10 Raptor Riders, and I think those are the Skink Hunters. I think the Chameleons scouted over here. On my side, I've got 6 Knights of the Realm who have been abandoned out on that flank, I'm afraid. We started deploying and then he deployed a lot more stuff on this side, so I very quickly changed to deploying on this side. Just here you can see one of my Scorpions, my second Scorpion, then my Grails with my Shamanism Monk and my BSB, my Banner of the Last Charge with my Druidess, my Hippo Toad, 5 Yeomen, 6 Knights of the Realm, and the other 5 Yeomen. So he took first turn. There we go. And yes, you can see the Chameleons have scouted into the water terrain there. He moves up out of line of sight with the Alpha Carnosaur out of line of sight of the Knights of the Realm here. The Stygiosaur hides behind the hill so it doesn't get shot at by this Scorpion and doesn't get charged by these guys. The Saurus Warriors also move up with the cover of the hill. The Quattro jumps up into the front unit of Bow Skinks, and there's a little bit of shuffling on this side just to make sure that they're out of double 6 charge ranges. I don't think an awful lot happens in magic or shooting, so we go to my turn 1. So this was a 10-inch charge with my Banner of the Last Charge chaps into these guys. And I thought, well, you know, if I hit them, then I'm very likely to get out of line of sight, and if not, then, well, either way, these guys, they get Oath of Fealty from my General being right here, so I can charge them, and then if I make it, then I can chaff this unit with these Yeomen, and if I don't make it, then I can also chaff this unit with these guys, and just block these guys from getting in, stick it in front of the Taurosaur maybe as well, or not worry about it at all, because of the BSB is a hard counter to him. But I went for the charge, I failed it. I think I rolled quite high for a failed charge, and then I didn't chaff the Raptor Riders like I thought that I would, regardless of what happens. I decided to keep my chaff for later on in the game. I think it was a 10 on dice, which is not unlikely for a unit of with Swift Stride. So I'm not sure what I was thinking there. I suffered a sudden rush of shit to the brain, and just didn't chaff that unit. So I'm no prizes for guessing what happens in the Saurian turn 2. I move up to support the Banner of the Last Charge realms with my Grails. My Hippo moves over, so he's got... I set up a counter charge with the Hippogriff rather than chaffing this unit, but there you go. I'm not scared of his shooting or his magic at all, so I drop the Green Knight nice and early. I can start causing terror checks and chopping through skinks with him. These Realm Knights move up so that they're off towards doing their scoring duties, and these guys, they're going to accept their fate, and they're going to at least force the monsters over on this flank to kill them as far over this side as possible, and keep them on this side and this flank for as long as possible. I can shoot at the Alpha Carnosaur and the Stygiosaur, well, the Alpha Carnosaur at least, all day. I'm not going to hit him anytime soon. He's at long range and he's got a hard target, and if he's behind the forest, then if he's sitting in the forest, then he'll be getting soft cover as well. So I'm not going to be hitting him and killing him anytime soon. So I need him distracted for as long as humanly possible. Saurian's turn 2. Yep, there he goes. He makes the 10. There's no point for him not going for that charge at that point, because I'm on a 9. So yeah, he goes for that and then makes it. Again, I'm not sure what I was thinking, but it's fine. I've got plenty of ranks, so maybe I'll keep steadfast, maybe. And if I can hold off enough of his divination buffs. I think he's got Know Thine Enemy, Scrying, Stars Align, Unerring Strike, and then the Hereditary, so he's got plenty of combat buffs that make this very, very nasty for me. The rest of his moves, he charges the Alpha Carnosaur into the front and the Stygiasaur into the flank, just to really, 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 really make sure that those guys are very, 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 very dead. And there's how everything else looks. So he uses his chaff very sensibly, like actual chaff, unlike me. The Taurosaur, I think, failed a charge at the Realm Knights, so putters forward a little bit towards these guys. The Skink Hunters make sure that they're out of a 6/6 of all the charges here, and the Quattro and Skinks back up a tiny bit, and the Jaguar Saurus Warriors start to wander off this way as well, see if they can get involved in the action. So this spell here, I make sure to save all of my dice for Stars Align. I know that I desperately need to keep as many guys alive as possible. I need at least 6 dudes. Well, at least 6 dudes, and then I need to be lucky to kill one of the... because he counts as 2 ranks, and then Lance Formation means that I've got 4 here. So I need at least 7 guys alive, and I need to kill one of the Raptor Riders for me to have Steadfast, at which point I can then pass a 9 rerollable check. If I lose 6 guys, and I'm left with 2 ranks, then he breaks my Steadfast, and I don't kill anyone, then he breaks my Steadfast, and then I almost auto-break, I think. Charge, rank, banner, and then 6 kills. Yeah, he'd be winning by 9 or so. So I desperately needed to stop Stars Align, so I let him get everything and anything else off. I think that's no thine enemy there. I think he cast a magic missile on one of the 2 of the scorpions here. And then finally saved Stars Align for the last point, and I did manage to stop it, thankfully. So he's got no thine enemy off, so he's going to be +1 to hit me, and I'm -1 to hit him. Or maybe it's scrying. Maybe it's both. Either way, he doesn't have divine attacks, and he's not rerolling to hit, which is very good news for me. So we go through to combat. Unsurprisingly, the Alpha Carnosaur and the Stygiasaur make very short work of the poor Realm Knights, and they are mulched into red goo, and the pair of them pursue off the table so that they're not getting shot at by my scorpions in my turn. In combat here, I get incredibly lucky. One of the... he strikes before me and kills 5 guys. I roll very well for my Aegis saves, I believe. I don't think he rolls particularly well with his attacks from the Lances. And then out of the 6-7 attacks back, I managed to do 1 or 2 Strength 4 AP1 wounds to the Raptor Riders, and he fails his 3+ armor save. And then the Raptors strike, don't kill anyone, and I hang on to Steadfast. So I'm now testing on a Discipline 9 with a reroll. So very, very, very lucky for me, considering how daft that opening play was. So, you know, really, really pushing my luck with this one. We go to Equitain turn 2. I think this is just a big overview of the field at the moment. Equitain turn 2, so the Grail Knights and the BSB go charging into the Taurosaur. I figure the Hippogriff, and now that the Raptor Riders are off the charge, the Hippogriff and what's left of the Realm Knights can deal with the Raptors. I move out a little bit wide here. I guess I wanted to stop the... I want to actually catch these points. I've got enough time to score the objective because I'm plenty fast enough. I just need to trap these skinks so I can actually get their points as well. So move off to the flank so they can't get around me and can't get out this way, and just chase them into the corner here. The Green Knight moves up to support this centre here in case he's needed. He probably could have done with sitting a couple of inches back and facing the back of the Raptor Riders just so that I had the option later. But hindsight's 20/20. The Yeomen continue to keep themselves alive. I move these guys over to the left flank in case I need them to slow down either of these monsters here. And in Magic, so this is after combat here, I get Entwining Roots off to Brit to counteract his No Thine Enemy. I think he may have Binding Scrolled Regrowth here, which is why I didn't get any guys back. Not an awful lot else happens in Magic. I don't think it was a particularly powerful Magic phase. In combat, between the Hippogriff or the Hippo Toad, between the Hippo Toad and the Duke, I managed to kill a couple of the Raptor Riders, and they managed to stick on Cold-Blooded. In combat with the Grail Knights don't even get to strike before the BSB has killed the Taurosaur from full health. Yeah, I mean, I get rerolls to hit, I get rerolls to wound. I was hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s with rerolls, and then I get to do D3+1 wounds. So, not a stretch for the BSB to manage that. And you know, it's just a poor matchup for those monsters, right? And to be fair, you know, even if the BSB was armed with a lance, that's not a good fight for the Taurosaur anyway. So, Saurian's turn 3. There's a slightly closer picture of that. Oh, you'll notice also that I've managed to reform with my Grail Knight, so that I've blocked the Green Knight from getting in anywhere to help anything. So, well played, me. And there is Saurian's turn 3. So, the Saurian warriors here decide they don't want any part of fighting 9 Grail Knights plus a BSB plus magic support, so they start going off this way and sacrifice some skinks to some chaff. I'm currently in his rear here, and I can't get these guys on a straight line here, so I can't wheel and then double wheel, obviously. I clip this unit before I can hit the back of this unit, so they're chaffing me here. The Quattro jumps out into the other unit, and the Alpha Carnosaur and the Stygiosaur start making their way off this side. I think the Stygiosaur is bearing down on the Scorpion here. There's a better picture of the skinks chaffing the Grails. And there's the Stygiosaur looking very hungrily at one of my Scorpions. So in combat again, he gets off Know Thine Enemy and Scrying by the looks of things, and then puts Guiding Light on here. So I'm winning combat by a lot. He's still grinding through my knights, and I haven't been able to regrow them yet. I've only had the one opportunity to do so, and it's been Binding Scrolled. But I'm chewing slowly through them with my Hippogriff and my Duke. By the looks of things, this unit has been charged, and I had to flee, so they're facing away. And this is the beginning of Equitan turn 3. So I take this this unit of chaff here, and I cover up. I stay out of line of sight of the Saurians, but I try and block the Carnosaur from getting my Grail Knights. I charge into the Skinks to get their points and stop them from getting in and scoring. It's quite bold to move up this far. I think I may have tried a charge. I think I needed a double 6 to make this, and I failed it. So I've come up 6 inches though by looks things, or maybe I just moved up super close to try and. I guess I forgot about this. Ignored these skink hunters and moved up to a point where between the Green Knight and the realms, I was threatening the Coatl's bunker here. In combat here, the last charge champion and the Druidess finally break from combat. I do thankfully hold with my Hippogriff, so he's now fighting the remaining 3 Raptor Riders. Obviously the BSB and the Grail Knights finish off the Skinks. I kill enough for them to not be steadfast, and then they break and... Or maybe I wipe them to a man because they're not fleeing here. I'm not sure. Either way, I win handily and then reform to face towards the Alpha Carnosaur. I reformed like this so I wasn't quite longer, so it saved me a couple of inches on a long charge range here. I do have my BSB in range here, but it's only a rerollable 6 to make sure that he they pass their terror check from the Alpha. So I wanted to be as far away as possible from here. Onto Saurian's turn 4. So the Alpha Carnosaur decides it's not worth it if I think this is a 10 or 11 for an overrun, and it was quite a long way to get to the Grails, even if these guys had failed their terror check. So he decides it's not worth risking the 970 odd points that the Alpha Carnosaur is, and hides out of line of sight on top of the hill, so he gets rerolls to charge next turn. The Saurian warriors are just standard height, and these guys are standard tall, and these guys are standard tall. So the yeomen are currently blocking line of sight between my Grails and the Saurians as they sneak through to the objective. The Stygiosaur has charged my Scorpion, and threatened with a Green Knight and Realm Knights. The Quattro has bailed out and used his Skink Bunker as chaff. In Magic, he gets off a large boosted Unerring Strike, and I think I let it through. Or maybe I tried to stop it. I might have let it through. I think because it was AP1 and only Strength 4, I figured, you know, I'd have to be quite unlucky to lose all my guys there. And yeah, he one-shots the champion and the Druidess. So they're both dead, and there goes their points. But considering their play turn 1, I think they were destined to die. In combat, I get duelled out by the champion in this unit. I win combat by a lot, and then he passes with cold-blooded. He passes the 3 or 4 check that he needed to make, maybe more than that. Either way, he doesn't break from combat. I win, but he doesn't break. Equitan turn 4. The yeomen bravely chase after the Alpha Carnosaur to continue to chaff him. And I make sure that the Saurian warriors don't have a good spot to come and sit. The only way that they can sit and turn to face the Grail Knights and have a chance of scoring still is inside the forest. So it'll hurt charging the spears still, but they won't be steadfast. And they don't have enough movement to get out of my line of sight here. And I made sure, rather than having these guys flat here, the tail edge here is within 6 inches of the Grail Knights, so they're benefiting from Oath of Fealty, so they're Discipline 8 with a reroll, which is far more reliable for being terrored off by the Alpha. On this flank, I've charged the Realm Knights into the Skinks here. And then in shooting, so you'll notice I've got a Scorpion here. There's a Quattro here who is worth 1,180 points between his points, his general's bonus, and his BSB bonus. This is within 24 inches, so I need a 4-up to wound him, a 4-up to hit him, a 2-up to wound him. Then he needs to fail his 4+ Aegis, and then I need to roll a 5 or a 6. So let's very quickly work out the chances of that. That's roughly a 6% chance that I managed to throw that out. So it's not astronomical, but certainly if we were to do it 100 times, I fail 94 of those times. Thankfully though, well, thankfully for me, very unfortunately for my opponent, the dice fall in the right way, and I blow off 1,100 points of Quattro Lord in a single shot, and those Scorpions have now paid for themselves for the entire weekend. Which is very good considering they haven't done anything yet. Yeah, that's just war machines for you. Just spiky. Occasionally you'll get it, occasionally you won't. In combat, you can see that the Hippogriff, the Duke and the Hippotoad have finally wiped out the Raptor Riders. Embarrassingly, the 6 Realm Knights going into the Skinks did kill a whole load of them, and then took 5 wounds back, and I rolled 111 and then failed all their Aegis saves. So I've lost half the unit to just... might I remind you, they're not combat Skinks. These are Skinks with bows, but I've lost 3 Realm Knights to them regardless. They break from combat anyway, and I failed to run them down, but I'm sitting a couple inches behind them. And then Saurian's turn 5. So the Alpha Carnosaur goes for a charge into the Yeoman. I passed my Terror check with the 8 rerollable thanks to my Grail Knights. The Skinks here rally thanks to a... Well, they're not below 25%, so they're not decimated, and then they're Discipline 6 with minimised, so they're good and they rally. As I explained last turn, I managed to trap these guys from getting anywhere good, so they've decided to hold on to their 600 points, just do a swift reform and move 6 inches back. It means he's still within striking distance of the objective here, right? So I still have to sit here with my Grails to babysit my objective and keep him off of it. And then in shooting and so on, I don't think he managed to kill anything. I think I was quite good with my saves. I'm not sure what the 666 is here for. And we go to Equitain turn 5. So the Green Knight charges the Skinks here. They flee through the Realm Knights and end up here, and I declare a charge with the Yeoman here, who managed to catch them, and the Hippo-Duke charges the Skink Hunters who flee, and then he fails his charge save. He's worked very hard this game, you understand, so he's not fancying doing anything else for the rest of the game. The Realms are quite happy to sit where they are, and I march... Oh, maybe he was out of charge range then. Out of possibility of scoring. So I move the Grails as far away as I can from the Alpha Carnosaur. And then on his turn 6, he moves away again with the Saurians and hides the Alpha Carnosaur from any lucky turn 6 shots with the Scorpion. And then my turn 6, I just move finally, most certainly into the objective with my Realm Knights. And that's the end of the game. So I'm not sure what happened here from this point. Once I've moved off this far, I'm not sure why he doesn't just Swift Reform and move 6 inches here. I'm positive there was a reason as to why we didn't do that, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe I'm just looking at it wrong, and he's the angle's wrong. Sorry, and he is out of range. But yes, that's how it finishes. So I managed to score the secondary objective, and the Quattro has bolstered my points considerably. And the game ends at a 17-3, I think. Yes, that's right. So yeah, I think a good almost 50% of my points are from the Quattro. So between that and getting lucky not losing the Banner of the Last Charge unit and my Druidess really early on, I'd say I was very lucky to have done quite so well in this game. So I really stole it from my opponent in that respect, I think. But it was a really good game. He was fantastic. With the Scorpion taking off the Quattro and this unit holding on Steadfast and managing to kill one guy to hold their Steadfast and then not breaking and then slowly grinding him down with the Hippo-Duke. Yeah, it was a really good game. I got very lucky. My opponent was fantastic. It was a really enjoyable game. So, moving on to round 5. Come back tomorrow, and you'll see another battle report. Yet another battle report. What's that, 6 days in a bounce? Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.